Old Town Conyers, Georgia, a city rich in history and tradition with a quaint downtown seemingly far away from the nearby suburban development and the hustle and bustle of Atlanta. A city with a wide variety of shots, from Civil War muskets to modern movie cameras. And it's where I live. I'm Bill Scott, and I'm making history. Before Conyers became a city and the seat of Rockdale County, the surrounding countryside with its pine and hardwood forests and its granite outcroppings was home to Native American mound builders. Later, after the departure of the mound builders, the Cherokee and the Muskogee Creek made their homes here. In fact, the old Hightower Trail in North Rockdale County was seen by many as the boundary line between the two nations. It remained belonging to them until the early 1800s, after the territory became part of the state of Georgia. In 1819 and 1821, the territory was ceded to Georgia by the tribes and distributed to settlers in the land lotteries. Conyers was first settled by John Holcomb, a blacksmith who owned land where the current depot now stands. In 1845, a railroad was being constructed from Martinsville, now Atlanta, to Augusta. Holcomb's land was in the vicinity where the path of the railroad would take. A banker from nearby Covington, Georgia, Dr. William Denson Conyers, offered Holcomb $700 for his land, which was accepted. Dr. Conyers donated the land to the Georgia Railroad, and the growing settlement, incorporated in 1854, was named Conyers Station in his honor, later to just Conyers. Fast forward to 1864, when the Civil War raged across Georgia. After burning Atlanta and commencing his march to the sea, Union General William Tecumseh Sherman marched into town with the 1st Division 14th Corps, part of his massive 62,000-strong army. Here in Conyers, Sherman and his officers were having lunch at the residence of Mrs. Amanda Scott. Whether Sherman ate in the house with his men or sat on this boulder is still a mystery, but it was here, while reading the Augusta papers from the day before, that his plan had not yet been discovered by the rebels. The plan on marching to Savannah. As Sherman marched out the next day, 2 more divisions marched in and destroyed the railroad behind them, twisting the rails and burning the railroad ties that were not burned during the early cavalry raid by General Kenner Garrard during the Battle of Atlanta as it raged 25 miles to the west. After the war, Conyers recovered, as did the rest of the state. Its importance grew so significantly that it was made the new seat of government of Rockdale County, created from parts of Newton and Henry counties in 1870. The county's name, Rockdale, was taken from Rockdale Church, which in turn received its name from the underlying granite strata beneath the soil, which rises in many places throughout the county. It was created by the Georgia General Assembly because the residents felt that the Newton County seat of Covington was too far to transact official business or to sell produce at markets. Main Street, once known as Highway 278, was the principal thoroughfare through Old Town Conyers for many years until Interstate 20 was paved through in the 1960s. Commercial development occurred over the years on the West Avenue, Salem Road, and of course Highways 20 and 138 just east of Old Town. Even still, Old Town Conyers still beckons people with bucolic charm, worlds away from the commerce that lies outside its borders. There are still shops and businesses around, like this soda fountain, a pawn shop, a sandwich shop, and a few bars like the Point and the Celtic Tavern. The old jail lies just north of Green Street on Millstead Avenue. It was built in 1897 after the original jail had become increasingly inadequate. The outside walls are 3 bricks thick, and the interior walls are 2 bricks thick. The bottom floor housed the sheriff and his family, while the upper floor had 3 rooms. One was a 4-cell block to house prisoners, and the second was a drunk tank, and the third housed the jailer. This third room was also the execution room when needed. This jail was used until the 1960s, when the sheriff's department moved to a new facility in the western part of the county. It was abandoned for nearly a decade until the Rockdale County Historical Society purchased it in 1975 and converted it to a museum. The cells upstairs still appear as they had when the jail was still in use. Another unique relic in Old Town is the Dinky. Technically known as Engine 104, the Dinky was built in 1904 in Paterson, New Jersey. It weighs 90 tons and measures 50 feet in length. In 1943, it was purchased by Callaway Mills in the nearby mill town of Millstead, where it daily transported cotton from Conyers to Callaway Mills and brought finished textile products back to Conyers, where it could be shipped to Atlanta to the west or Augusta to the east. When Callaway Mills moved to LaGrange, Georgia in 1960, the Dinky remained in Millstead. In 1975, it was relocated to the Georgia Agrorama, now the Georgia Museum of Agriculture and Historic Village in Tifton. It remained there until the Rockdale County Historical Society purchased it in 1983 and relocated it to its present site. There's also the old CocaCola Bottling Company building right in the heart of downtown at the corner of Main Street and Millstead Avenue. This is where the Coca-Cola Company bottled its famous soft drinks for 60 years. This almost 10,000 square foot building was built in 1907 and its walls are 4 bricks thick. Coca-Cola operated here from 1907 to 1967 and it now houses county government offices. Nowadays, people know Old Town Conyers for its film tourism. Early television shows like The Dukes of Hazzard and In the Heat of the Night had many scenes filmed here, which opened the door for more productions like The Originals, a spin-off for The Vampire Diaries, mainly filmed in Covington. The Celtic Tavern was the scene of Gillespie's Pub. Other shows filmed in Conyers include the NBC series Constantine and the hit Netflix series Ozark starring Jason Bateman. Speaking of filming, a new movie called Red One is being filmed in November 2022 in Conyers. It's starring Chris Evans and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This picture is of Island Spice Restaurant and Bar, which is also the Celtic Tavern, which doubled as Gillespie's Pub in the originals. Bill Scott here. Thank you so much for making history with me today. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. The more likes and subscribes I get, the more of these videos that I can make to keep you entertained about making history with me. And again, thank you so much for watching and make some history of your own today.